Hi, I'm Octopus Lady. You're watching Alien Ocean, and let's talk about mantis shrimp today, shall we? And this is going to be another two-parter because there is just so much to say about mantis shrimp. The most famous of which is probably the peacock mantis shrimp because, I mean, look at him. Compared to other mantis shrimp, this one sticks out like a sore but very flamboyant thumb. Happy belated Pride Month! Mantis shrimp are part of the subphylum Crustacea, which means, friendly reminder, and also spoiler alert from my barnacles video, they're related to barnacles. I don't think I'm ever gonna get over the fact that barnacles are crustaceans. They're in the class of Malacostraca, which, is it just me, or does that kind of sound like the name of a mafia gang? La Cosa Nostra, La Malacostraca, yeah, no, just me, never mind. And then in the order of Stomatopoda, you will find the mantis shrimp, putting them in the same class as, well, almost every other crustacean you can probably think of. Lobsters? Yup. Crabs? Shrimp? Most def. And interestingly, regular shrimp and mantis shrimp are not in the same order. Krill? Duh. Amphipods? Of course. Woodlice? Obviously. Oh, right. Yes. Sorry. The earliest ancestors of mantis shrimp broke off from the rest of the Malacostracans about 380 million years ago, which means they were hanging out with jellyfish and horseshoe crabs and some echinoderms before everyone else I've talked about on this channel decided to make an appearance. And they're found mostly in the Indian and Pacific Oceans, along coasts in tropical and subtropical environments. So out of all the animals I've talked about on Alien Ocean so far, this is the one I'd want to mess with the least, because they can be really scary. Like, you're not scary, you're a little scary, but also very dumb, so I wouldn't be too worried if I ran into one of you. You're not scary, you're not scary, you're not scary. You are actually pretty scary depending on the species, but you also don't actively hunt things, so not peak scariness. Not scary, not scary, not scary, and you, I thought you were scary, but you're actually just sort of a harmless dork. But if someone stuck a mantis shrimp next to me, I'd be like, oh, okay, we're chill, right, man? Like, we're good. Oh God. Oh, hey, Nico. Hey, yeah, long time no see. Is that a new suit? You're looking good. You're looking real good. Yeah, right. I know I'm late, but I'll get Tony his money. You know I'm good for it, man. You know I'm good. Y'all, I got into a little trouble with some loan sharks. Can you maybe help me out? Mantis shrimp come in two types, the spearer mantis shrimp and the smasher mantis shrimp, which is referencing specialized raptorial limbs that they use to hunt, defend against predators, build and excavate burrows, and fight with conspecifics, which is just a fancy and I think fun way to say other members of the same species. Conspecifics. So spearer mantis shrimp, their raptorial appendage is a spiny, sharp, barbed spear, unsurprisingly, and they use it to stab enemies or prey. And while I couldn't find any footage of a spearer mantis shrimp actually stabbing something, I did find this, which, oh my god, 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 oh my god. Look at that! That is so cool! That is the coolest! Smasher mantis shrimp do have a pointy bit to their appendage that they also use to stab, but the whole thing is more shaped like a club, and they use that to smash. Just like how everyone here should smash that subscribe button. Oh god, I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke. Please don't leave. And when they swing that hammer, it ain't like a little love tap. They pack a punch. In fact, it's kind of like a double punch, but we'll get to that in a sec. And they do it fast. One study says that the raptorial appendage of the mantis shrimp, Odontodactylus scyllarus, can go from 0 to 23 meters per second in 2.7 milliseconds. 23 meters per second is 51 miles per hour, which means they're accelerating at speeds that are equivalent to a bullet firing, making them possibly the fastest appendicular striker, as this paper puts it, in the entire animal kingdom. And also means I have to clear something up really quick. I've seen in multiple articles and posts and videos, including videos from like National Geographic, saying that mantis shrimp can hit with forces equivalent to a bullet firing. But that's not correct. They can accelerate at speeds that are equivalent to a bullet firing, which is different, right? Force and acceleration are different from each other. And I don't fault most people who repeat this misconception. I thought this was true for a long time until I did research for this video, but like, it really bothers me when reputable sources like Nat Geo are getting this wrong. I mean, look.
And Mantis has had enough. He pulls up his hammer claws and goes into attack. His claws hit Octopus with the speed and force of a bullet.
no, man. If they were hitting with the force of a bullet, then at a minimum, this octopus would be missing an entire chunk of itself, and at a maximum, it would just be dead, because octopuses are incredible in a lot of different ways, but they cannot survive getting hit by a bullet. D- Nat Geo, see me after class. But this paper says they can hit with up to 1,500 newtons of force on the first stage of their punch, and 500 newtons on the second stage, which is still pretty strong. I'm going to talk about the kind of damage mantis shrimp can do in a little bit, but it's not equivalent to a bullet hitting you. Moving on, mantis shrimp kind of have 2 stages to their punch, and the second one involves something called cavitation, which, oh my god, that's a word I haven't thought about in like years. Shout out to any aquarists watching this who come into work to find a pump sucking air. I still get nightmares about that. Anyway, so cavitation is something that's sort of beyond the scope of this video because it's a physics thing, and do I look like a physicist to you? Practical Engineering made their own video about it, which I thought explained the concept really well, so go check that out if you want. But for our purposes, all you need to know is that cavitation is the formation and then collapse of small bubbles in a liquid like water, which doesn't sound like much, right? But oh my god, cavitation bubbles are hashtag not like other bubbles. They can do so much damage. A cavitation bubble just 2.7 millimeters in diameter can generate 9 megapascals of impact pressure over a period of approximately 5 microseconds as it collapses. Cavitation can destroy water turbines, propellers on boats, and I've personally seen the damage that it can do to things like pumps. And this is what mantis shrimp use in the second stage of their punch. It's a little hard to tell what's happening here, but this is the smashing appendage of a mantis shrimp, and this is a force sensor, so you can see the initial hit, and as the mantis shrimp is pulling back, a bunch of cavitation bubbles form and then collapse. Their collapse creates a shock wave of about 500 newtons of force and also releases a bunch of light, sound, and heat. Heat that's apparently equivalent to the surface of the sun. So even if the mantis shrimp misses its target on the swing, it can still stun or kill its prey from the resulting cavitation blast. Dang! Can Saitama even do that? Oh, right. And this is why I don't ever want to mess with mantis shrimp. Their punches can easily break the shells of other animals, human fingers, and glass. Sorta. Let's talk about these one at a time. So smashing open shells, which we've seen mantis shrimp do plenty of, is actually really unique in the animal kingdom. The majority of animals that need to break shells open usually do it in one of 2 ways. Crushing, like with jaws or claws, or peeling. We just kind of chip away at the shell until the soft tissue within is exposed. Very few animals use a smashing mechanism to break open shells. In regards to breaking human fingers, unfortunately, I couldn't find any solid sources on that, which was kind of a bummer. This random person on Korff did the math, and I guess theoretically mantis shrimp can do it, but I don't actually know if this math is accurate, and no first-person reports came up when I was researching this. I did find an article where someone said they knew a guy who saw a mantis shrimp while diving and tried to pick it up, and it smashed his finger so badly that the man had to get it amputated, which Why? Why would you ever try to pick up a mantis shrimp with your bare hands? I try not to swear on this channel, but seriously, that is like the textbook definition of fork around and find out. However, I did manage to find solid sources on how some fishermen called spear mantis shrimp thumb splitters because they've literally sliced open people's thumbs. And the punch of the mantis shrimp can definitely shatter glass. There's definitely proof of that. But maybe some of you have heard stories about how mantis shrimp sometimes accidentally end up inside of someone's fish tank and then completely destroy it when they decide to get into fisticuffs with the glass. But again, like the breaking fingers thing, I couldn't find any solid first-person accounts of that exactly happening. I did technically find a comment from someone who said that a mantis shrimp did completely shatter their fish tank, but that person set up that aquarium specifically to house a mantis shrimp, and somebody tapped on the glass too much and made the mantis shrimp angry, and so it broke the glass. What I found much more often were stories from people saying that a mantis shrimp unknowingly ended up in their aquarium and then just killed and ate all their fish. I feel like I'm downplaying this too much. They can shatter glass. Just want to emphasize that. So how can such a relatively tiny thing cause so much damage? Well, y'all owe me because trying to figure this out was such a headache. I know that scientific papers aren't meant for the general public, but holy mackerel. This was what I was trying to read to figure this out. The two flexor muscles muscles of the maris both attach to sclerites, which pivot on the ventral wall of the maris, figure 2, and the tension they develop is transferred to the carpus by the thickened arthrodial membrane. The lateral flexor muscle inserts on an L-shaped sclerite, sclerite 2, the long arm of which pivots on the medial edge of the maris shell. The front edge of the ventral maris wall is turned upwards and backwards to form a ridge with a depression behind it, which acts as a stop for sclerite 2.
When the lateral flexor contracts to fold the limb, sclerite 2 is pulled backwards over this ridge and then abruptly clicks into place behind it. And the carpus extends about the maris, sclerite 2 swings forward, and as it does so, it again abruptly clicks over its stop so that the limb suddenly snaps open.
Okay. So, they do it through a class of mechanisms called latch-mediated spring actuation, or LAMSA? LAMSA. LAMSA? I don't know how to pronounce this. In order to understand this mechanism, we have to go over some mantis shrimp anatomy. So in their raptorial limb, they have the maris, the saddle, the maral V, the carpus, the propodus, and the dactyl. I'm really only going to talk about like 2 of these, but if I had to learn all of them, then you do too. In the maris, there are some extensor muscles. So muscles, when they are contracted, make the limb extend, like the triceps in your arm, right? When you extend your arm, you can feel the muscles in your triceps contract. Then there are the flexor muscles. When they contract, they pull the limb close to the body, right? That's what your biceps do. Same thing in the mantis shrimp. In order for the mantis shrimp to swing their smashing limbs with all the speed and power that they do, they have to contract their extensor muscles as much as possible. But if they just start contracting them, the limb just opens. Something needs to keep the limb in its flexed position as the extensor muscles contract and contract and contract. That's where the sclerites come in. Sclerites are basically just extensions of the exoskeleton, and in this case, mantis shrimp have 2 in their maris, sclerite 1 and sclerite 2. Sclerite 2 is L-shaped, kinda, and it's attached to a flexor muscle. When that flexor muscle flexes, it both folds the limb up and pulls sclerite 2 back, clicking it onto this brace on the floor of the maris. There's another flexor muscle that's attached to sclerite 1, but I'm not going to show it here because, honestly, I'm not sure where it goes. Again, these papers, man, like, okay, this is a top-down view of the limb in the flexed position, and sclerite 1 and sclerite 2 are very clearly labeled, but then there's the extended position, and I can't tell what happened here. I guess this is sclerite 2, but like, why does it look so different? Like, why does it have a blunt end to it when it looks sharp over here? And I can't even figure out what happened with sclerite 1, which I guess is what this is. I guess, is that sclerite 1? I don't know. Nothing's labeled. And where did the muscles go? They're just gone? And what happened to this thing? Anyway, I do know that when sclerite 1 gets drawn back, it gets pulled over sclerite 2 and latches everything into place. Oh, would you look at that? At this point, the limb cannot extend unless the flexor muscles relax and release the sclerites. At the same time that the flexor muscles are contracting, so are the extensor muscles, which builds up a bunch of potential energy both in the extensor muscles themselves and also in the saddle. The saddle is very stiff but not super rigid, and it can be compressed like a spring. Oh man, it's all coming together. When the extensor muscles are fully contracted and the saddle is compressed, the flexor muscles let go of the sclerites and the limb snaps open, completely wrecking whatever was unfortunate enough to cross its path. I've heard multiple researchers describe this mechanism as very similar to what launches an arrow from a bow, and like I said earlier, all this can happen in less than 3 milliseconds, meaning that they can get in multiple hits in the blink of an eye. But yeah, that's how they can hit you with forces that can supposedly break fingers. So like, again, tell me that mantis shrimp don't sound like the hired goons of a crustacean mafia. They seriously will mess up your thumbs if you do something to make them angry and, huh? Wait, no, wait, Nico, don't do this, man. Please don't do this. I can get Tony his money. I just need a little bit more time. What are you gonna do to me? I don't even have thumbs! Anyway, I think we're gonna end it here for today. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss part 2, and if you'll excuse me, I need to get myself to a hospital for no particular reason. Thanks for watching another episode of Alien Ocean. This one was a rough one, y'all. Animation's hard, even if you're just using keyframes in Premiere. Anyway, today's hopefully interesting question of the day is, if you were a mantis shrimp, would you rather be a spearer mantis shrimp or a smasher mantis shrimp? I think I'd want to be a spearer mantis shrimp because they look so cool when they're doing their thing. Also, side note, I think they should rename spearer mantis shrimp to slasher mantis shrimp. Then we would have slasher and smasher mantis shrimps. That would sound so much better. Why are humans so bad at naming things? Anyway, leave a comment down in the comments with your answer. Check out our Patreon where you can get early access to videos or your name in the beautiful credits and help support all the hard work we do on this channel. Also, like, share, subscribe, check out my old videos, all that stuff. And until next time, this has been your friendly neighborhood octopus lady reminding you that you don't need to go into space to find aliens.